What's up, guys? Tony here, and I'm going to be updating you on just the effects of COVID 19 and what's been going on in my life. And, I knew this was going to come, I knew that this was going to happen. Um, and just a little bit of a story here before I get to what's going on right now. Um, so, I'm a school teacher. I've shared that numerous times. That's one of my passions in life. That is one of the things that drives me and drives me as a person to make me better and to do what I do. And I have fulfillment in that, and I have a lot of joy in that. Um, so school was called off. Um, we were scheduled to go on spring break on March 13th, I believe, and we were gonna have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday off, and then come back on that Tuesday. And the announcement was made that we were gonna take basically that time off and into Easter break. We were gonna try to come back after Easter break. Now, I was devastated. I was very upset when I heard the news. I knew it was going to come. I mean, surrounding schools had already announced it. Mizzou had already announced it, by the way, and numerous colleges were saying we are not going to have face to face contact anymore. And maybe you are a student and maybe you have gone through this. Maybe you're a teacher, maybe you're a parent. We're all affected by this. We're all in this together. But when I first heard the news, I took it very hard, and I really enjoy spending time with my students and getting to know them and having relationships with every single one of them. And on top of that, I'm also a tennis coach and wrestling coach, and we're in season. We were in season, still in season for tennis, and we're on hold. We were put on hold. We can't practice. We can't compete. I updated you guys with this before this knowledge, and anyway, today we got the knowledge, the information that we are extending our COVID-19 quarantine until at least May 1st. So we'll come back. So May 1st is a Friday. So second, third, fourth. So May 4th. What's up, TJ? How you doing? But May 4th is our supposed start back day for school. And that's really only 14 and a half school days in the school year. And I I miss my kids a lot. I really do. I do not just treat teaching and education as a job. It's a lifestyle. All right. It's something that I chose to do and go into. I forgot to mic up. I'll just talk into this. So it's something that I chose to do, and I absolutely love teaching, and it's something that I'm gonna do, continue to do for the rest of my life as long as I can do it to the best of my ability and all that stuff. Okay, so we got the news today about the extension, and that means a few things. So we cannot practice tennis, we cannot compete in tennis, and that would roughly leave 2 weeks left for the tennis season. And I, to me, that's just telling me that the season is done. Now it's not finalized. The organization Misha through Missouri, in charge of all sports and activities in the state of Missouri. They have not made a statement yet. They're waiting to see what school districts are going to do, if a lot of schools are going to shut down or not, or extend this whole quarantine thing. So we're waiting on that. Um, it 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 is what it is. What's up, Aaron? Yeah, thank you. And I'm not on here to complain per se, but just to kind of express and then also kind of leave a little timestamp for myself to look back on and to see this and to see this whole struggle. I'm not doing a daily vlog or anything. That would drive me absolutely nuts. And my channel is not like that. My channel covers retro video games and all things related to retro video games. So, but it's important to update you guys on what's going on in my life now. And everyone's life has been turned upside down during this time, and it's just been absolutely bonkers and crazy. So that's where I'm at right now, just kind of in limbo. I'm really more upset about tennis season than anything, because I put my heart and soul. I mean, I love retro video games and collecting. What's up, Dante? And all that. I really do. I really love all that, and I love making content. But at the end of the day, the things that I'm really passionate about, teaching and coaching, and just instilling and instilling knowledge and life lessons. Yes, Casey. Yes, it's very hard, man. And to me, it's very difficult. I love to compete. I'm a competitor. I so that like competitive fire in me has like been quenched right now. And it's very difficult because I love to get out there and see what our teams can do. And yeah, thankfully I was able to complete the wrestling season. That's a blessing, I guess. But in the day, tennis, it's a real bummer. So it my daily schedule has been a mess, but I've been trying to make it a daily, having daily rituals Monday through Friday. And then my wife, she is still working right now. She works for a women's state prison, and she is considered an essential employee. So she has to go in. Those kind of places can't just shut down during this kind of pandemic emergency thing. So she has to go in. Now, if it gets worse and worse, like it's supposed to, we're gonna keep her home. We're gonna make sure she's safe and she's gonna stay home. She's been on the channel before, if you're familiar with her, um, and we're gonna make that decision early. We'll talk about it this weekend, really, and see what happens and see if we're going to make that really hard decision. She has plenty of sick time. She has plenty of time off to do that. And I believe the state would grant some time off. I hope the governor would support the Department of Corrections for Missouri. First and foremost, like what you're saying, family comes first. And I'm going to protect my wife first and foremost during this time. And if she loses a little bit of time or whatever, we'll do that. We'll take that risk and sacrifice. Yeah, Dante, this is really tough, man. This is tough on a lot of people. I mean, I can only imagine those people who are out of work right now. I'm I'm blessed that I'm in a career that's semi-stable. I mean, hopefully schools aren't going away, and my wife, unfortunately, she's in a career where things are going to remain. There's a need for prisons. Unfortunately, that's just the way our society is. So yeah, my day, back to my day-to-day schedule. I am doing some things for my students online. I use something called Google Classroom. If you're familiar, that's a platform a lot of educators use. And I try to keep my students engaged. I do not try to overload them away, and I mix it up. Now, it's what's really cool is I'm probably one of the more tech savvy, live streaming, online teachers that I'm not trying to boast anything, and I'm the most well set up to do this kind of thing and this whole distance learning. So what I do, so just to give you guys an idea of what I'm throwing at my students, for those who don't know what's going on the education side of things now. If this bores you, I'm sorry. But for a full week, I'll assign at least one or two readings for the entire week, and they're pretty short. It should take them at least an hour to do it with some questions and some answers and stuff, some reflection. Then I use something called Ed Puzzle, which is basically like YouTube with embedded questions. So they get to watch a few videos here and there. Maybe I'll throw in a Retro Tony one in there just for the heck of it for fun. We'll see what happens. And then what I do, we use Google Meet, not Zoom. We're not allowed to use Zoom because of legal issues. Apparently, people can get inside those live streams that are not a part of the school and whatever security things. So we use Google Meet, and then I lecture once a week. I lecture like I would lecture in class, and it's pretty funny. I actually use my personal, not my personal, but I use my school YouTube account that I have through Google. And yeah, Fred said it's kind of crazy. I actually like Zoom a lot. I used it a little bit, but Google Meets isn't bad. They're beefing things up. They're changing things, so that's all right. So I'm actually live streaming on my account for school, and I'm thinking I'm doing a pretty good job with that. And I'm using OBS. I'm live streaming like I would live stream for my channel. It's kind of funny, really. And I mean, I could do this for another month. I really could. I enjoy this and this challenge, but for me, I want to see my kiddos. I want to see my students. I want to see them every single day that I can. Um, yeah, Aaron, yeah, that's crazy, man. But I try not to overload my kids. My philosophy through this whole thing, unless I'm directed otherwise, which we will probably get some directive at some point, some more directive because of the extension, is we we might get some more things that we have to do for, say, like IEP students or whatever. But I try to give my kids at least 20 to 30 minutes of work a day, and that's it. And I tell my kids that too. If we do Google Meet or if I do a live stream, that's it. That's all you got to do that day. That's all I want. That's the only attention I want for you that day, because those are a little bit longer in length, anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour, if that. So, for example, for my American history class, we went through the civil rights unit, and I lectured for about 50 minutes or so. And for my American government class, we were talking about the judicial branch, and we were working through some court cases. And that was about 40 minutes or so. So I don't lecture and lecture and lecture and lecture, okay? I just give them what they need and what I feel like they should take away from my classes, like the most important things. So that's an update from like my perspective from school and work. And I try to get up every morning at 7:30, regardless of what's going on. And I get up at 7:30 every morning. I try to be down here working on my classroom stuff by 8 o'clock every morning, and then I will work till about noon. That's all the work I've been kind of doing. Some days might even be down here just for an hour or so, and that's fine. Um, and thank you, Aaron. Yeah, appreciate that. And from time to time, we'll have Google Meet meetings too with the staff. Um, yeah, so Fred said right now we're out till May 1st. We have not went ahead and canceled the school year like some school districts have. We'll see what happens. From what I've seen and read in some predictions, the peak isn't supposed to happen until May 18th in Missouri, but that's just a projection. Okay, that's what I've seen in predictions and all that. Nobody knows. Nobody. I mean, the cases are increasing in Missouri, but it's because more testing is going on too. That's another thing as well you got to consider with this whole mess. So yeah, right now, May 1st is the deadline they're looking at. The next time they're going to reevaluate and see when or if we're going to continue with school. Which, in my humble opinion, you got 14 and a half days. I don't know what you can salvage in that time. That's just my opinion. I understand graduation and prom; those are huge, huge things, and you got to think about your seniors and your families and that. And our schools, our school districts, and we're not the only school district. We're feeding our kiddos, and we're delivering the meals, or I think they're picking them up at this point. Not delivering. They will get to that point when they're delivering food, I believe. But yeah, we're staying proactive with that. The kids aren't. They're still getting food, and they're still getting some education. And it's optional right now for the kiddos. And that might change for some of them. And yeah, so that's difficult for a teacher. I'm assigning stuff that may or may not necessarily be for a grade, but it is what it is. There's bigger problems in this world right now than if my kids understand uh, Brown versus Board of Education or whatever. Okay, which I want them to understand that and the impacts of that, and how segregation in schools ended and all that. But to me, right now, making sure your family's safe, you're getting enough food and resources, you're staying away from people, you're not in groups of 10, um, and you're doing the whole social distancing thing. And I would encourage every single one of you guys to continue that social distancing to protect yourself, your family, your friends. And it's tough. It's hard. I mean, I'm an introvert by nature, and I mean, it's been hard on me. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I really miss my kids. I really miss my friends. I really miss my players, my wrestlers. I miss them all, and once the school year starts back up, or we start a new school year, I'm really gonna tell the kids that I appreciate them, every single one of them. So yeah, that's my update on my work. Now, one really, really sad note, kind of related to my work. I have a former wrestler who's been affected. He's not diagnosed, or he has not been in contact, or he's not nothing. The COVID-19 stuff has not affected him, like physically. He is not, none of that. I want to clarify that, but he goes to Old Dominion. I'm not going to say his name just to protect him. And one of my former wrestlers now, ODU has decided to end their wrestling program because of this financial hardship. Now, I think they were probably going to end it anyway, but they're looking at this whole COVID-19 thing, and there's a lot of schools who are going to make a lot of hard decisions because of lack of funding or losing money. And I'm sure they're not going to be the only college to make that decision. Now, my my former wrestler, he does have the option to stay there. He does have a scholarship. He could stay there until he graduates, or 4 years are up. So that's an NCAA protection for those students, and he can transfer. Okay, so it's not like game over, or anything for him. And he's a very smart individual, very, very intelligent, and just a really killer wrestler, who will get back on his feet and do what is right for himself and his wrestling career and his education. His education is more important than wrestling at this point, and he will make the right decision. He'll transfer, and myself as a coach and working with some other coaches, we're trying our best to help him out and support him. And the news just broke today, so kind of that really hit me hard. That was very, very sad news for myself, and oh man, I feel so bad for that wrestler. So yeah, uh, another update too. I was actually going to do an edited video for this, but I'm just going to lump it into this random live stream, and the prompt that started this live stream was ODU closing the wrestling program, shutting the wrestling program down. And after that, I was like, man, I really got to go and express myself and just kind of update what's going on. And then we also got the news today about the extension too. So just kind of one after the other. Earlier this week, we got the news about Missouri Game Con. And if you guys don't know about Missouri Game Con, I can't talk. If you don't know about Missouri Game Con, well, it's very near and dear to my heart. I've taken the crew to Missouri Game Con every year that it's been open. The only thing that we missed was the mini Missouri Game Con they had in January, and there was a conflict with me in coaching. I was coaching that day, so I couldn't go. And coaching always takes precedence over video game stuff. That's just how it works. But they announced that Missouri Game Con will be not held this year in August. When they always hold it in August, and it's the right decision. All these things are the right decision. I want to say that, and I'm not questioning any of these decisions. I'm not questioning any of the motives or the reasons. All this stuff is out of everyone's hands. All this stuff is no one can control it. Okay, and it's the best thing we can do at this time. And there's actually quite a few other cons. I believe Portland Gaming Expo, they decided not to have it. Retropalooza, I haven't heard anything, but I'm pretty sure they probably will make that decision soon. I think they were scheduled to have one in Dallas. Don't quote me on that. And I don't know if they've made a statement about that yet or not. And it's supposed to be held in May. But Missouri Game Con, very, very near and dear to my heart. I was a vendor last year in August, and it was my first time being a vendor, first time stepping up to the plate and being a vendor. What's up, Charlie Brown? What's up, Caitlin? How you doing? And to me, Missouri Game Con is kind of the one time a year where I can go and connect. What's up, NES Addict? How you doing, buddy? But it's the one time a year when I can connect with fans. I can connect with just local geeks and nerds and gamers and cosplayers. And I've made a lot of friends through Missouri Game Con. That's good to hear, NES Addict. I would be curious to hear how COVID-19's kind of affected you and your world, if you're working or not, and all that. And but Missouri Game Con is a huge part of my life. I plan for it year round. This year in particular, I to be a vendor, I wanted to do it right this year. I thought I did it pretty good last year, but man, I've been stockpiling a lot of games to sell, and I'm gonna be sitting on those suckers for quite a while. I don't know what to do with them. I might try to sell them over the summer, and I'll get to the summer here in a minute too. I don't know. I don't know what to expect with this, with the Missouri Game Con not being held. I might just hang on to them for a year. If finances are decent, I can probably do that. But yeah, that is really awesome, NES Addict. That is really good to hear, man. I'm glad that you're able to stay safe during this time. I'm glad you're able to do that and continue to work. Yeah, okay. That's cool. That's cool. And that's awesome, man. I'm really glad to hear that. That's good. But yeah, I mean, there's smaller things to worry about than Missouri Game Con. I understand that, but it's still something that I look forward to. And I've taken the boys to every single year. It's a tradition we have, and this would have been our fifth year at the con. And just looking at how the con has grown and the friends that I have made through that con, that's really the only con I kind of go to. Yeah, I've been to Retro Palooza. Yes, yes, NES Addict. I am. I gave an update on my teaching earlier. Right now, everything is digital learning, and we just got the news today that we're extending our stay-at-home quarantine time until at least May 1st, if not later. So that's kind of where I'm at. I also went through like my daily schedule and stuff like that. So yeah. Also, another thing that could be affected, and something that I love to do, and it's kind of related to this channel, I guess. I love to teach fifth grade summer school. I know how crazy that might sound, but that is an opportunity where I get to actually teach. Oh yeah, it needs to be done, man. It really does. I also talked a little bit. I coach tennis, and how that's been affected, and basically it's on hold right now. So, but fifth grade summer school, I it hasn't been confirmed whether or not it's been canceled or not, or if we're gonna have it or not. I think they're gonna wait a little while longer to make that decision. And of course, the state has the funding or not too. That's another thing. Um, awesome, Aaron. Did we meet, Aaron? I'm drawing a blank. But the cool thing with fifth grade summer school, I have the liberty to teach an elective to these fifth graders, and I get to spend about an hour a day doing this. All right. Now I could spend the entire day doing this, but man, I'd get kind of bored with it. Just to be honest, I teach one of my other. What's up, Terry? I teach one of my other passions, the American Civil War. I do an elective kind of fun stuff with them, and but anyway, I get to bring in all kinds of cool retro systems. I brought in my Vectrex last year for the first time. I bring in Game Boys. I bring in the NES, the original Sega. I also bring in the Atari 2600. And I bring in, just all kinds of weird oddities. Yeah, yeah. I might consider that NES addict. I might have to hit you up for that too, man. If that's still on, we might have to connect somehow, and possibly, if things are going to go the way I think they are, I might be doing a little bit of traveling this summer. So we'll see. But I get to share my passion of video games with my students. I've never been to South Carolina. I would love to go to South Carolina. There's a lot of Civil War history down there that I would love to see. I know that. Oh yeah, I'm a huge Civil War buff nerd. I don't really share that a whole lot on my channel, but I may or may not get to teach summer school this year. We'll see what happens. So that's what's been going on in my life. Now, channel update really quick. I know, man, this is uh, Cowpens. Battle of Cowpens. Hmm. Huh. I'll have to research that. Never heard of it. But now the channel. I also said I was going to do a little channel update, and this is kind of working pretty nifty here for me so far. Usually I have a little struggle with it, like moving around on my shirt. Anyway, side note. Sorry, distraction. So the channel. Um, I think you might be pulling my leg a little bit there, an NES addict. I think, man. I'll look it up though. I'll look it up. I'll leave a comment on this video, um, to let you know what I find, my research, if you will. So anyway, the channel. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I mean, even in this isolation and quarantine time, there's been some content out, and I'm trying not to pressure myself. I'm trying not to push myself too far with YouTube. Okay, I want to make this as fun as possible for myself. Okay, there was a consideration at one point in time of just leaving the channel altogether. Okay, and I'm not even kidding. If I'm being completely honest here, I felt like, man, I can't keep up with the demand. I can't keep up with what I want to do, and uh, just my goals and what is more important to me, and you have to have priorities. You have to, okay? And I'm not saying you need to choose YouTube over other things or anything like that, but I really, really did some soul searching during this time, and I'm going to continue the channel. I'm going to continue on making content. It might be a very slow trickle, but I'm going to have some more time off. The War's Southern Campaign. Okay, I'll look it up. I'll look it up. And I did actually a video game hunting video. That was fun for me. Okay, I'll look it up. I promise I will, NES Addict. But I did that video. That was a lot of fun. I've done actually a couple live streams of like kind of like this that you guys are watching right now, and those have been easy and really really easy to do. And live streams are always easy. I've done a couple on here using my I don't want to lift it up too much, but I'm using Super Pi here, RetroPie system to emulate a lot of stuff. Right now, I'm really digging into some arcade games. That's kind of what I've been getting into, and I'm going to be working on, just to give you guys a spoiler, some Dragon Ball Z 90s arcade games tonight. So I'm going to do that tonight for sure. Some nights it's just I want to stay upstairs and just play games, play random games that I have, and not live stream and not do anything for the channel, but just play games. Sometimes it's good to just play games, okay? And I still enjoy playing video games for the pure enjoyment of them. And there's a lot of games I play not on the channel for my personal enjoyment and fun. But I don't know. Maybe it's just this pressure of this whole COVID-19 stuff and being a little depressed from school, the lack thereof of being able to be in contact with my students. That's been a struggle in the whole tennis season. So the motivation is there, but just some days I just like, man, I don't want to do this. And I'm being completely open with you guys with this. And I want to continue this. I want to do this. Now, one huge project, and this is going to be a passion project for me. And I don't care if I get it out after the release day. Final Fantasy VII, the remake, which I'm really excited about, by the way. And supposedly my copy of it got pushed back, of course, through Amazon and all that stuff. Anyway, so I'm going to review Final Fantasy VII. I feel like it's time I do something I want to do. And it's very timely, I know. And it sounds silly, Final Fantasy VII is very, very popular. It's something a lot of people would want to hear about and watch a video about during this time. But to me, it's like, I don't even care what quote I want to. I don't want to sound selfish. What's up, Seb? I don't want to sound selfish about this comment, but I want to do something that I want to do, if that makes sense. Now, this is something I want to do. All right, I'm telling you. And there was a time when I was all about the views, and I'm not a powerhouse channel. I'm not a powerhouse channel. All right, I'm not saying I'm like PewDiePie or anything like that. But there was a time when I was like it was almost like an addiction, if you will. And it was not a very good thing for my mental health to continually check my YouTube stats all the time. Check the videos all the time to see how they're performing, to see comments. And actually the comments don't bother me. I love to read those and respond to them. It's almost like a text message from you guys, kind of, sort of, in a way. And I have the YouTube Studio app on my phone, so it's like 24/7. I have it there. But there was a time when that's what it was all about. Um, I'm not leaving, man. I'm not leaving, Aaron, for sure. Uh, Thanks, Geek Hero. I appreciate it, buddy. And it was obsessive. And it was affecting my personal life, my career a little bit. I don't let anything get in the way of my teaching. I'm going to tell you that. Now, if it's affecting me personally, health wise, yeah, I will step away. I will definitely step away from that stuff. And yeah. So I understand that. I understand the health and all that, and mental health and all that. So I understand that. But for me, I did have to step away from YouTube for a while, a lot longer than I usually do. I do take a normal scheduled break anywhere from November to the end of February. I do that every year because of wrestling season. Now, does that mean I won't live stream or post videos? Absolutely not. I will post a few here and there. We always do a Christmas special. That's a tradition I want to keep doing with the boys. I love that. And so there will be some content, but it'll be kind of a slower trickle. And who knows? There might be some smaller um, videos here and there. But I want some more polish behind my videos. I want to look a little bit better than I have in the past. All right. And that's another thing that's been weighing on my mind is quality versus quantity. Where's that fine line? Where's that thin line that can be crossed that, you know, that I'm always struggling with. And I'm not the best editor. I barely know what I'm doing editing wise. Stevie is very, very advanced at editing, and he does a lot of the editing for our big Retro and the Bubby episodes. And he's working on one right now, by the way, that will be released soon. And I always love those videos. They're a timestamp for me for what's kind of going on in my life. I remember what's going on in my life when we filmed, and also I just love spending time with all the boys, our crew, our Retro and the Bubby crew, if you will. And we I'm not gonna lie, we've been kind of loose lately. And I'm hoping that we can kind of get back together, regroup a little bit this summer. We're gonna wait for this whole COVID stuff to slow down. We had plans. We had plans to go hunting. We had plans to go out and go look for retro video games and go to some new places. But this whole COVID thing kind of halted that. And we get it. We understand. We understand what's going on there. And yeah, so that video will be out at some point. And I told Stevie, just take your time with it, man. But, please try to work on it a little bit. He kind of has put some of that stuff to the side. And I understand he's a very, very busy person. But I want to keep this going. And it's not just to produce and create the content. I want to keep it going because I love having them over for when we do interviews. We do crazy and zany interviews. We watch the episode unedited and we talk about it. We kind of reminisce and we talk about what was good, what was bad about the trip, etc. So I want to keep that up, and that's kind of why I'm putting a little pressure on Stevie, is because I want that to continue. And you know, so a little retro on the Bubby update that I wasn't really planning on giving. Um, so yeah, I mean, I want to do some reviews. I want to do some like compilation videos. Like I'm gonna try my first one that hopefully I'll have out by tomorrow. Um, with this one, I'm gonna see how it turns out. I've been watching a lot of Gilly the Kid. His channel. Oh man, he's really really good. I have binge watched his channel, and his channel is phenomenal. And it's very simplistic, and there's some things that I'm gonna try to. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna exactly copy him, but there are some things that I'm going to emulate because of him and kind of change on my channel a little bit. I also really, been following him for years. SNES Drunk or SNES Drunk, whatever you want to call it. I think it's SNES Drunk. And he does like compilation videos, if you will, too. Not just the Super NES, but pretty much anything and everything. He does some Genesis stuff too. And his channel has kind of influenced me a little bit. GameSack is always something that I look up to and I love and I aspire to. That's something I'll probably never get to that. I'll never get to that level. I'm not gonna lie there, but that's just something I kind of look up to. And even like Angry Video Game Nerd, I've been watching some of his stuff and just kind of like how he does these big long like compilation videos. Uh, what was the latest video I watched? It's kind of an older one. It was the oh crap. It was the really crappy Commodore 64 system. It was a CD system. Oh crap, what was it called? But yeah, I watched that and was like, man, this is cool. I really kind of like how he did it. He does a little bit of history, not too much, and then he goes in and he just plays a ton of games. And that's kind of like what I want to do. Now, if it's a game like Final Fantasy VII, I'll do a full spanking review on that. So yeah, um, yeah. Take care, Geek Hero Bubba. Yeah, thanks for checking in, man. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm really digging a lot of arcade games, like I said earlier. So there may or may not be some arcade content coming out. Um, and one last project that I haven't started yet that I'm gonna start. The Virtual Boy. I'm gonna be covering the Virtual Boy. I know it's an obscure, strange, random system, but I'm going to be covering the Virtual Boy and every single game that was released on it. And I'm going to try that out too. I could do that for a few systems, not a lot. I'm not going to do it for like the Super NES or the Sega Genesis or anything, but maybe I'll cover like a genre or something like fighting games on the Sega Genesis or whatever, you know, whatever it may be. I'm not going to try to copy anybody, but you know, there's nothing new under the sun, and you have to learn from examples. You have to learn from what you like and kind of run with it and take it and try to add your own flavor to it. I mean, really, we kind of all emulate, what came before us, and we learn from what came before us, and that's kind of what I'm doing and what I've always done. But I'm me. I'm me regardless of what has come before me, and what I do is what I like, and hopefully you like it too. And I try not to be a direct copy of anybody. I might pay little homages to people, like for example, the whole retro and the Bubby series, which is all about going like a big group of people going and looking for old video games. That is a tribute, a emulation, if you will, of the Game Chasers. I'm not gonna lie, they heavily influenced me, and one of the major reasons why I started the channel was the Game Chasers. I'm not gonna lie, and I didn't know where I was gonna go from that point. We had this idea because we'd been doing that stuff before the Game Chasers. Like we would go to pawn shops, thrift stores, outdoor flea markets, garage sales together for years before that. We just never filmed it. We'd go to game stores and stuff, and we try to add to our collections. And yeah, that it was just something that we did. We naturally did. So yeah, wow, this video got really long, really quick. I wasn't expecting to talk this long. I like to talk. Oh, yeah, just let me know, what are you guys going through? What are you guys struggling with? I hope you guys are still working. I hope things are going well for you. If you're out of school and you're kind of stir crazy, I totally understand what you're going through. And yeah, I'm staying busy. I'm staying productive as much as I can. And every day I get up, I do my schoolwork and prepare my schoolwork, and then I also work on my master's stuff too a little bit in the afternoon. So that keeps me busy. And then I every day, if it's not raining, I go for a walk. I've done that every day this week. I go for a walk. I walk for at least a mile. I'm going to increase it to 2 miles. Social distancing, staying away from people, not trying to touch stuff, just kind of keeping to myself, out in nature, walking trails, all that stuff. And yeah, I have played a little bit of tennis. I'm not gonna lie, but I've been safe with that, and trying to stay, social distance parameters. Tennis, you can stay away from each other. Okay, pretty good, I think. I've been washing my hands, hand sanitizer, all that stuff that we're called to do during this time. But I'm trying to have a daily normal schedule and follow that normal daily schedule. And um, you know, some mornings it's been hard to get up. I'm not gonna lie, I want to sleep in all day. But I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that for my own sanity, for my own health, for my own mental health, and you guys got to do that too. You gotta. I recommend that you if you're not on a schedule, if you're at home, if you're on quarantine, and you're not an essential employee, please try to keep a daily schedule. Make a list of things that you're going to do every single day. And I'm trying to get to that point with adding every single day, making some task lists for my channel. I know this is counterproductive to what I was saying earlier about, man, I don't want to treat this like a job, but or it was a draining tasking thing. I don't want it to feel like something I have to do. Now, for me, the way my brain is wired and works is, if I don't write something down, if I don't make a list of things that I want to do or that I feel like I need to do, that's when I neglect that thing. What's up, Chief? How you doing? How's Wisconsin treating you? So I have to make a list. I'm gonna, like, for example, I'm filming some footage today of some Dragon Ball Z stuff, and I'm gonna edit it tomorrow after I'm done with my schoolwork. I blocked out a good little time to do that and to make some content. And then I'm gonna work on my master's stuff, my master's class that I have, that I've enrolled in and been working on now since January. So it is what it is. I mean, you got to make the best of it, is what I'm trying to say. You got to make the best of this time. And if there's some, you feel like, man, I don't have enough time to do this, that, or the other, this might be the time to do this, that, or the other. If you can, now, you can't travel, you can't, go see stuff and all that, or be around big groups of people or whatever. But I'm talking like if you have some projects at home, if you have some things at home you want to do, if there's some things that you're wanting to clean, get rid of, organize, do it. I'm going to be organizing my game room. That's another thing I'm going to be working on every single day, and that's another thing that I do to myself personally is I overwhelm myself. I overwhelm myself with YouTube. Like there was a point when last fall, I'll give you guys an example. I would come home. This is before wrestling season, when I would be at school till about 6 or later with meets and stuff. But for example, I would come home after we'd have our preseason workouts. I'd help lead that and run that till about 4:30 every day, Monday through Thursday rather. We'd always give our wrestlers that Friday off, and I would come home. I'd get something to drink, maybe change or whatever, get a little comfy, and then I'd come straight down here. And I'd come straight down here and work till 8, 9 o'clock at night for a good 2 months. And that burned me the heck out. I'm not going to lie. It was not fun. I dreaded coming down here. And I just, it was like, I got to do this. I was obsessive about it. But I got to learn to do things in moderation. I got to learn to chunk out my time in order to make it more enjoyable. I do enjoy editing. I do enjoy capturing footage. I do enjoy um, you know, gathering my thoughts about video games and sharing them. That would be cool, Aaron. Yeah, that would be awesome. Let me know if you do that, and I'll take a look. I'll watch some of your videos, man. That would be awesome for sure. So yeah, that's all I'm gonna share. Really, I'm running on almost 51 minutes. I was expecting this video to maybe be an hour or so, or not an hour or so, like 20 minutes or so. Wow. But I had to get some things off my chest, and I don't have a lot of people to do that with right now, to bounce off ideas, if you will. And yeah, it is what it is. Just be safe. Be safe during this time. Protect yourself, social distance, okay, and try to keep some mental health awareness during this time. Okay, because I'm feeling it a little bit, and I feel like I'm a pretty stable individual. Okay, I feel like that. I'm a pretty happy guy. All right, if you guys haven't noticed, I like to have a lot of fun. And but this whole thing, this pressure, it's weighing me down. Okay, and I'm sure someone who maybe does struggle with some mental health issues already. This is probably not a good thing for them. Okay, and I'm well aware of that, and I'm well aware of the consequences. So reach out to your friends. Don't isolate yourself. Reach out to your family. Okay, you can still meet with some friends and some family members, okay? But you have to do it safely. And if you're on lockdown, I'm sorry, I apologize. I don't know what's going on in your city, your state, or even your country if you're watching elsewhere. Let me know down below in the comments or in this live stream what's going on with your situation, if you're on lockdown or not. Um, but yeah, guys, I appreciate every single one of you. All the subscribers, all the people who just view my videos. It means more to me than you guys realize. I know that that's cliche and cheesy and might be overstated sometimes by people. But I really do appreciate um, a lot of what you guys do for me. Uh, what do I use to store video games? It depends. So, uh, really, so thank you, Terry. So for me, it depends. I like to have them in the original case, if necessary. If we're talking like CD based games, disc based games, I want them in the original case, and I keep them in the original case. And I'm thinking like PlayStation, PlayStation 2, all that, anything disc related, I keep them in the original case, and I try to keep them at a decent temperature, room temperature, protected temperature, and a really good environment for that. And then as far as like my NES, Super NES, Game Boy, and 64 cartridge based games, Sega Genesis, Sega Master System, Atari, 5200, 2600, 7800, whatever, ColecoVision and television, whatever, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Those are generally loose. I think that they are all right. I mean, I clean them from time to time, but I generally just kind of let them lay on the shelf. I don't really protect them per se. If that makes any sense. I don't use like the dust protectors or anything like that. Maybe I should. I just I don't know. If I feel like I can get a game to work usually if it's really dirty. I'm pretty good at that kind of thing. I'm pretty good at preserving and keeping games. Like for example, I just have Chrono Trigger over here just chilling. Okay, it's my favorite game of all time, so I got it chilling over here. Now, as far as like the game boxes, I should probably take better care of them. I have Chrono Trigger complete in box. Now, the box itself was a little rough, but when I bought it, it was just a tad on the rough side. But I probably should protect things like this. The boxes themselves are more fragile than the games, especially with them being cardboard games. Now, the Sega Genesis games, they're gonna last a lot longer because of the clamshell case, and to me that's important uh, for preservation purposes, and just to kind of curate my own little museum, if you will. Great question, random question, and I appreciate your comment too about you liking my videos too. Uh, yeah. Any other questions really quick? I mean, this isn't a Q&A, but I don't mind questions like that. I mean, I'm just chilling down here. I'm getting ready to play this, but any other questions for me? I'll take a few before I end the video. I'm not an expert by any means, but I've been collecting all my life. I'm 34 years old and seriously started collecting probably about 10 years ago. So, yeah, I mean, close to six. No, I do have over 6,000 games for sure, confirmed. And one thing that I've been struggling with my collection getting so big is cataloging, and I really don't catalog, and I probably should have started that years and years ago. I used to. I had a really early game NES app that I used. Oh crap, what was it called? I cannot recall what it was called, but it was a free version. And I used that for actually it went all the way up to the GameCube because at the time I was really focusing on NES, um, N64, Super Nintendo, and GameCube at the time. So yeah, I might explore using some apps. We'll see. But the thing is, that would take a lot of time, a lot of effort to catalog. Maybe I'll get the app and just start it now, if that makes sense, and then go back and then add stuff. Now I have a pretty good razor sharp memory of what I own, but there are times it's like, do I have this? But the nice thing is, being a vendor at Missouri Game Con, if I have a double of something, I can just put it in that pile. So it doesn't really hurt my feelings if I pick up a double on accident anymore. So, and maybe it'll be a variant. If it's a variant, it'll stay in the collection. For example, I picked up Sim City for the Super Nintendo, and it was the Player's Choice, the Million Seller Edition or whatever that Nintendo came out with later, kind of like their bestseller edition, and I added that to my collection. So now, Chief, did I buy an arcade one-up cabinet? No. And I'll share why I did not do that. There's actually three reasons, rather, now that I'm thinking about it. If I want to play any arcade game, and I know that this is frowned upon, I can emulate it. I can literally play any arcade game that you can think of. Now, some of the newer arcade games, not really, but I'm talking like your classic, the ones that you actually want to play. Okay, I'm talking like Pac-Man, Galaga, uh, Pole Position, whatever. Now, I understand it's not like the true, full-blown arcade experience. I get that, but I can literally play any game I want. Okay, and I'm happy with that. I'm fine with that. Also, I have a arcade bar top. Before I got this RetroPie, preloaded with literally any game you can think of. Um, and that kind of serves as an arcade machine for me. And that just it's hanging out in my game room next door. I have two game rooms, by the way. This is kind of my filming room, and that bar top arcade. I've actually, going back to a previous thought, I actually took that to my fifth grade summer school class before to let the kids play like Pac Man or Donkey Kong. Really, Donkey Kong was the most requested game by the kids. And I think it had to do with Pixels. I've never watched that movie. I don't want to watch it. Just gonna say that right now. But I have that, and that kind of fits the bill for arcade machines for me. Now I do own a couple other arcade machines, but would I ever buy any more like actual arcade cabinets? Yeah, absolutely. If I found a really good condition, cheap, um, original Galaga cabinet, I would buy it in a heartbeat. If it was like $400 or less, all right, I'm saying that's kind of my price range for that, and that's kind of hard to find. Also, I would love to have a cocktail cabinet of any kind. I don't care what the heck it is, as long as it was cheap and affordable. I would spend the money to get. I'd spend like $200 or so to get said uh, like cocktail cabinet. Those things are fascinating to me. I would love to have one of those things, kind of as like a backdrop for the videos, maybe, and just kind of like a little set piece as well. But they're fascinating. I would love to have one of those at some point in time. I've also kind of talked about pinball machines a little bit. Those are going to be, that's like a pipe dream for me. I'm not going to spend that kind of money to buy a pinball machine. All right, I'm just going to tell you that. I'm not going to spend thousands and thousands of dollars on a pinball machine. I'm not doing that. I have better priorities than that. Okay, you might. Well, what are you talking about? You spend a lot of money on video games, right? Well, I usually make my money back and then some. Let's just say that. So that hobby I make money off of, sort of, kind of. Okay. Um, yeah, Aaron, they probably are. Okay. Stay at home. Don't be in groups of 10. Wash your hands, all that stuff. Social distancing. Schools are shut down. Obviously, all schools in Missouri are shut down. So yeah, mine is too. Um, Third reason, the cost. I don't think that those things are worth the money that they're asking for. All right, I'm just gonna tell you that right now. Uh, they're asking way too much money for those cabinets. They're so flimsy. I can make a better one. All right, I feel like, and I am not a craftsman or anything. Um, they just look so flimsy and cheap. And the ones that I see at Walmart, I understand they're demo units. They just look, they're in such the worst shape. They do not last. They're so cheap. Like the where the people are putting their hands down to actually play the games. I understand that, gazillion kids and grubby hands and all that are touching this cabinet, but it just looks so faded and gross. And I wouldn't be playing the thing that much anyway, but still, the fact is, I don't think they would last that well. Now, you could make the argument, Tony, that just take care of them. All right, and I would take care of them if I had them. Not gonna lie, I would have loved to have had the Turtles in Time one, but I could play that anytime, anywhere I want. And it's one of my all-time favorite games. Actually, I prefer the Super Nintendo version over the arcade version any day of the week. So I'll take that to the bank. So that's why really long-winded response to why I don't have an arcade, uh, one of those, what are they called? One-up arcade cabinets. I think they're cool. I think some of them are cool, like the Star Wars ones. Those are radical, man. But the earlier ones, I'm not too impressed by them. And I understand that those were like the first runs I even toyed around with maybe getting one of those. Uh, they had cocktail cabinets, but they're too expensive for my taste. If I'm going to spend that kind of money, I'm going to spend that on an actual arcade cabinet. So yeah, I'll take like one more question if you guys want to. If not, I'll go ahead and end the stream. This was not a planned Q&A. I might do another Q&A at some point in time. I did one like a year ago, and it was actually really, really successful. And I actually posted on my Facebook fan page. You know, give me questions, I'll answer them. And I had a really good response. Maybe I'll do that again, kind of like a yearly tradition. I hadn't planned on it. I'll put it on my. I have a wall over there of ideas on a dry erase board. I'll add that to the list of possibilities. Um, so, any other questions for me? Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. But yeah, I'm doing fine, doing safe. I'll say that all my family is safe at this point in time. The county I live in, there are no confirmed COVID-19 cases. All the ones that have been there have been several that have been tested, and there have been several. All of them have been negative. There's like two or three that are pending, but all the ones that we've had are all negative, and that's really really good. Now, does that mean that we're going to be able to avoid the COVID-19 stuff? No, it'll come. It'll be here. Unfortunately, I know, and you know, I've talked to a few doctor friends, and yeah, who's a better player, Andre Agassi or Pete Sampras? Oh man, that's actually kind of tough. Sampras was dominant, man. Sampras was the man before uh we have Nadal or Federer or any of those characters we had today. But personally, I like Agassi. I actually, when I was a kid in the '90s, I would watch tennis, and I was just fascinated by it. And I never played tennis as a kid. I never played tennis as an athlete before coaching the sport. Um, and I was just fascinated with him and the way he played. I do remember playing some games with him in it. I believe, is there a Super Nintendo Andre Agassi game? I know there's like a PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 game. I believe there is. I'm pretty sure. I remember renting it a few times and asking myself, what the heck is this crap? It was awful. Super Tennis was a really good game for its time. Um, you guys aren't going to believe this. One of my all time favorite games is Virtual Tennis. It's actually an arcade game and a Dreamcast game. And we actually did a little like let's play, if you will, with me and Bubby. And that game is, if you're looking for a really cheap and fun game on the Dreamcast, and it has an arcade feel to it. All right, it's not like a realistic tennis game. I recommend Virtual Tennis. Now there was like a Sega Saturn version. I don't recommend that version. It's not very good. Um, but the one on Dreamcast, really good. All right, guys. Well, I've been going over an hour, and my arm's getting a little tired from holding this thing. I might actually just do this in videos just for the heck of it, because I always like when I'm editing, I hear like you'll hear this now. I hear that all the time, and it makes me so angry. And this thing's kind of broken. I need to order a new one anyway. And this does increase the quality of my audio off of my phone, by the way, exponentially. Now, when I'm actually editing videos, I use a new mic, and this is a cheap little. I paid $40 for it off of Amazon, but I'm going to tell you that the audio quality in my live streams that I do and the audio quality in my reviews, my actual like voiceovers, if you will, they have been phenomenal. All right, and just out of this world, for me at least. I think that that's one of the things that I've been so happy about with making some improvements to the channel is this. And I've actually been using it. It's hilarious to me. I've been using all these tools to live stream off of YouTube, off my school account, and it's kind of neat that I'm using tools for the channel for my actual career too. Sort of, kind of. Oh, I am using them, not sort of, kind of. So anyway, I know I keep wanting to get off here, but I really appreciate you guys and be safe. I mean it. Make good decisions, make the right decisions. And guys, if you're not feeling good up here mentally, reach out to somebody. Okay, and try to get outside if you can. Uh, get some sun, get some vitamin D in your system. And try to eat right too. That's something else I forgot to mention. Gosh dang it, I was about to get off of this live stream. That's something else I want to mention too, with health and this COVID and the schedule stuff. Guys, you've got to eat. You got to eat really good during. Not like I'm not saying go on a diet or anything, but you need to evaluate what you're putting in your body. I've really evaluated that here the past 2 weeks, and really evaluated what I'm putting in my body. And I have cut for the past 2 weeks. I've cut sugar out of my system and caffeine. Believe that. And that might be kind of part of the reason I'm struggling getting up in the mornings a little bit is because when I wake up, I depend on caffeine. Caffeine wakes me up, gets my body moving and thinking, and gets my mind fresh. Um, and I eat a lot of junk food during the day when I'm at school, and here at home I don't do that. I eat a lot of fruits and veggies, and I'm avoiding a lot of starchy food, a lot of carbs, if you will, and just kind of evaluating what I eat. And it's kind of helped me out mentally, and I've already lost a little bit of weight, and that's something to consider too. I'm not going to turn into a channel that you know monitors and looks at health, if you will. But that's something that can help you mentally is to eat good stuff, put good stuff into your body, and then also sleep. I actually, I've heard stories from my high school. Like I've talked to a couple of my high school students. I've had a little bit of contact, not much, um, and they were telling me stories that certain students were staying up. They were going to bed at like 5 a.m. in the morning. All right, and then sleeping till who knows when. All right. And that's another thing. You guys got to have a good sleep pattern, sleep habit during this time, and try to keep a constant schedule. Okay. It's hard, especially if you are struggling with motivation and if you're struggling with um, staying motivated, and if you're stir crazy mentally and physically and all that. I get it. I get it. So yeah. All right, for reals, this time I am going to get off this live stream. And I again thank you guys for watching this hour and 15-minute update. Have a great rest of your day. Stay safe. Play some games. Do what's right. Protect yourself, guys. Thanks.